Hello and welcome to Rathods IAS. Today in this session, we are going to see current affairs of 31st December 2023. And this is the last session of this year. And tomorrow onwards, we are going to have new sessions in the new year. Okay. So first of all, I want to wish you a very advanced happy new year to all of you. And one request from my side here is, so you have to come up with your new year resolutions. And keep that resolution should be practical and try to follow those resolutions. And please let me know which are the new year resolutions that you want to come up this year in the comment box. Don't forget, okay? So now we are going to see Delhi edition of Hindu, and we are going to pick out the articles important from our examination point of view. And today is Sunday, so many students, they have tendency to skip the Sunday's newspaper, but you should not skip the Sunday's newspaper, because there is a chance of covering current affairs of your environment and ecology and as well as science and technology point of view from your Sunday's paper. So now let us try to pick out the articles from this Delhi edition of Hindu. So this is the front page, and the first article is about delay in census once again. So here this article is talking about census postponed again. Census postponed again to be delayed till at least October next year. Till October next year there is delay in of next census. So this article is very important, and I will let you know some important dimensions that you have to see from this article point of view. So what is this article talking about? It is talking about census. So now let us see the dimensions. So you have to see when was the first census. So first census in India, and you have to see who was the father of census. So this part you will be covering from your modern history point of view. Okay, so this part you will be covering under this modern history, and here you have to see some facts regarding census. So what is this, and once in how many years we are coming up with census, so you have to know that facts. So these two part, it will be important from your prelims. And here you have to see the present context, like what is the issue. So issue here is due to this COVID-19 pandemic. Actually in 2021 itself, we have to come up with this exercise of census, but has been delayed. And now again it is saying that again there is a delaying of this census. So this is the 9th time such an delay which is happening regarding this census. And why this census is very, very important now, because so recently bill passed in both the houses, in house 1 and in house 2, and even president gave assent. Which is that bill? So this bill is talking about 1/3 reservation of seats for women in Lok Sabha and as well as state legislative assembly. So what is the concern here is, so if you want to implement this 1/3 reservation for women, so we need to know the exact date of census. So even our present government said that we are going to implement this act, but after this 2021 census data, but now it has been delayed. Okay, so these are some important things that you have to remember. And whenever we are going for this census data, we can also go for delimitation of these constituencies as well. Okay, we can also see delimitation of constituencies, that means redrawing of constituencies based on the population. Yes or no? So here which are the dimensions that we have to remember? So first one, it is from your history point of view, and second one, it is from polity point of view, and you have to even cover this current affairs which is in news. So in this way you have to connect this article holistically. So I hope it is very much clear, right? So if you're really understanding what I'm saying, and if you're feeling this analysis is easy, after watching this video, it is very easy to understand this newspaper or current affairs. So if you are having that type of idea, then please do like the video and please do share the video. And one more thing here is, you can comment your name and from which state you are coming from. Okay, that's all regarding this first article. And now let us go back to the newspaper. So this is front page, so no need of seeing this advertisements. So in the city page also I found nothing much important. Yes, here in the states page, here you can see one article, that is 22 ministers take oath in Rajasthan almost a month after BJP government formation. So here you have to see some dimensions of this article. So this article is again important from your polity and governance. So it is talking about minister's oath. In your Lakshmikant book, you will be studying about state legislature. In that state legislature topic, or even in this executive topic also, you will be coming across this ministers. So especially it is called as Council of Ministers at the state level. So in India, we are following parliamentary form of system. Yes or no? So which form of government that we have? So we have parliamentary we have in India parliamentary form of government. So in this parliamentary form, we have nominal head, and we have real executive. So nominal head is nothing but for namesake, naam ke vaste we have head. So that will be in center level we have president, and at the state level we have governor. But real executive, or the real powers which is present with this Council of Ministers headed by Prime Minister at the central level, and same Council of Ministers headed by Chief Minister at the state level. Okay, now in this parliamentary form we have two heads, nominal head and real executive. Okay, so here you have to know about some facts regarding this Council of Ministers, and you have to see oath is taken by whom. Okay, and one more thing here is you have to know like what is the limit of this Council of Ministers, and which Constitution Amendment Act talks about the limit of 15%. So all these things are very important, and this topic is important from your prelims. So this year we are expecting that there will be the question regarding the state legislature and as well as Council of Ministers, Chief Minister, because recently elections held in 5 states. Okay, and governments are forming, right? So in this context, you have to know some facts regarding this minister's topic. And now let us move on. So in this news analysis, I am trying to inculcate even very minute details which are important from your examination point of view. I am not skipping anything. So if there is any important, just I am at least giving a note on that. So please do follow daily. So consistency is very important. Yes, and here you can see one article that is about NIA arrest 4 in Tripura for human trafficking. So here there are 2 keywords that you have to see. So this article is very important from your polity again. Okay, so most of the articles are polity articles today. So here 2 important keywords. So the first one is human trafficking. Second keywords is NIA. So now let us see dimensions in this human trafficking. So if you're talking about human trafficking, you have to know first of all what is the definition of this human trafficking, and you have to see which are the constitutional provisions. And even you can see laws or acts which are present in India. And you have to see the place where this trafficking is happening, that is across Indo-Bangladesh border. So because of this, you can connect this article as a case study or example. That so if you're talking about any challenges, across this Indo-Bangladesh border, you can also add this human trafficking. Okay, and you have to see like what are the causes for this human trafficking and what will be the impact. And you are going to be a future bureaucrat, right? So you have to even suggest some measures to control this human trafficking. So your homework is you have to let me know what are the measures of this, what are the measures that we can take to reduce this human trafficking. So all these are the important dimensions that you need to focus. And next one here is NIA. So you have to see what is this NIA and what is a mandate and functions of this NIA. Okay, and this topic is important from your prelims and this topic is important from your mains. Clear? Getting ideas or not? Sorry, following or not? So don't think like, ma'am, even on Sunday also you are not leaving us. So here I am compelled to do my work and you are also compelled to do your work. So there should be no one should be blaming on one another, okay? So there is no choice for you have to follow news on even Sundays. In this page you can see an article that is Prime Minister visits. Prime Minister visits 10th crore beneficiary of Ujjwala LPG scheme in Ayodhya. So this article is very important. Here we are talking about one important scheme, that is Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana. If you see any scheme which is in news, that is important from GS paper 2 under governance. Under governance topic, this article is important. And whenever you are seeing any scheme in news, you have to see some basic facts. So those facts are like, what are the provisions? What are the provisions of this scheme and under which ministry it is coming under? This ministry is very important. And you have to see whether it is a central sector or centrally sponsored scheme. And you have to see analysis. What are the positives and what are the benefits? So all these things that you have to know regarding this PM Ujjwala Yojana, and there is a high chance of getting question from your prelims. Okay. And here you can see one more important and interesting article, that is draft norms look to make railways more disabled friendly. So even in yesterday's class we discussed that yes, this disabled people, they are away or they are mainly not allowed into economy. They are not even contributing to economy. Their contribution is very, very less. So because of this, here government took some step to make these railways which are disabled friendly. Okay, so it is very, very important. Okay, so here for them we are having a dedicated mobile app. So this dedicated mobile app and a one-click template for the persons with disabilities, and this mobile phone will be displaying all the information facilities available for them at the stations as well in the trains as well. And even we are focusing on inclusivity, and as well as we are focusing on announcement regarding the facilities for the disabled persons, and especially we are coming up with sign language and captioning and digital displays, etc. So all these things are very important, and actually we want to increase the overall accessibility of this persons with disabilities as well. Okay, so this is about this topic. And in the science page you can see like researchers find the cause of nausea, sickness in pregnancy. So this article is important but not much important. So here normally I want to give you some idea, because you are going to be a civil servant, so you'll be coming across this type of issues, and that will be most challenging for you. So to handle that situation, at least you have to have some knowledge. Okay, so after pregnancy, okay, so after once the pregnancy confirmed in women, so lot of changes in the hormones will be happening. So normally if you're comparing with the hormones of men and women, so men having only one, that is testosterone. Yes or no? We have only one steroid, that is testosterone. But that is not in the case of women. So women will be having wide range of hormones like progesterone, estrogen, luteinizing hormone, and follicle stimulating hormone. So we have 4. Okay, so women have 4 and men will be having 1. So especially after confirming of pregnancy, so progesterone level will be very high. Okay, progesterone level will be very high. And even what happened, so let me draw the diagram so that I want to make you understand much more better. Okay, so this is the reproductive system of women. So it is just a diagram. It is not much neat also. So actually what happened every 1 month, so for every 1 month, so here we have ovaries. Ovaries are also called as egg bags. So we have a pair of ovaries, one on left and one on right. So every one egg will be released, either from left side or either from right side. So what happened whenever the egg is released, for example this is an egg. Okay, whenever the egg is released here, so this will be picked up by this fallopian tubule. Okay, so this is picked up by a fallopian tubule. So here we have ovaries like this. Okay, so this is ovary 1 and this is ovary 2. So this ovaries will be releasing eggs, and after once ovary is releasing eggs, so this fallopian tubules will be picking that egg, and that will be taken up. So whenever there is availability of sperm, what happens? The fertilization will be happen. So fertilization is nothing but the meeting of egg with a sperm. So after fertilization, what happens? So again that cell will be starts dividing, and what happened? The group of cells, they will be reaching here and they will be implanting to the walls of uterus. And after implanting with the walls of uterus, what happened? The link which between this cells and as well as this uterus will be happening. That is also called as blastocyst. So blastocyst will come, which contains like 8 to 16 cells, and that will be implanting to the walls of uterus. So after once implantation is done, then what happens? There is releasing of hormone. There is releasing of hormones. That hormones will give the signal to our human brain, like, so implantation happened, so there should be no next periods. So that what happened? There will be increasing of progesterone hormone. So till now we understood that, so because of this hormone which is released after this implantation, that will causes vomiting sensation. But now this new study which says that not only that hormone, but even fetus is responsible. Okay, even the fetus is responsible for this hyperemesis gravidarum. So hyperemesis gravidarum, it is a situation where there is excessive vomitings will be happening. So even if you are drinking water, even if you are taking anything, so that will be coming outside. Okay, so that hyper or high vomiting sensation is called as hyperemesis gravidum. So it is because of this GDF15. Okay, so because of this GDF15, that is the thing which mainly set here. Okay, So GDF15, it is an important reason for the nausea and vomiting, including hyperemesis gravidarum. And even the further analysis which said that placental and maternal samples revealed that fetus is responsible for the vast majority of hormones which are circulating in the maternal plasma. So what happens in the blood of mother? So the hormones will be moving. So the important reason for this hormones or increased hormones here, it is not only the mother but even because of this fetus. Fetus is very much responsible for the majority of hormones are present. Okay. So even this, if this GDF15 is less, means you will be also getting hyperemesis, and even if this GDF15 is more, then also you will be getting hyperemesis. So this is the thing which mainly said here. And next topic is very interesting, that is levy 20 to 30% of health tax on food with high sugar, salt and fat. So how many of you are habituated to eat this junk food? So even I used to have this habit, but after knowing the facts, I tried to minimize a lot, and now I am not taking much fat foods or foods containing the salt or sugar, but just I will be having Lays. So but even though I am trying to come out of that, but I am not coming out okay from that Lays, but I am trying a lot. But whenever I am seeing that Lays packet, so I will be feeling that when I have to eat that, like that. So here one advice from my side here is, so please do avoid from this junk food, because that will be causing non-communicable disease like hypertension, diabetes, obesity, etc. So don't do that. So don't take this junk food, so as far as possible. Okay, so you have to stick to the home food itself. Okay, so here we are going to see this topic, and it is very, very important and useful. So here you can see one more article, that is online searches. Online searches increase the veracity of fake news. So what happened whenever we are using this internet, and whenever we are searching for anything, so now there is a problem of increasing of fake news. So this is the thing which mainly said here. And other important articles, so the first one is missing TB case in the private sector. So as well, TB, it is a very important disease, right? So TB is very, very important. TB is also called as tuberculosis. TB is also called as tuberculosis. So in your science and technology, you will be studying this topic of diseases, right? So in the disease topics, you will be focusing on communicable, and next one is non-communicable. Okay, so TB, it is a disease that can be spread from one person to another person. So it is an example of communicable disease. So the target of our Indian government is to eliminate this TB, but that has not been achieved because of this COVID-19 pandemic. So if you are talking about healthcare system, we have public and we have private. So we have government hospital and we have private hospitals, right? So this article says that TB cases, they are seen majorly in public but not in the private. Okay, so this is one cause of concern. And here we have to see what are the reasons and what is the way forward. And one more thing here is, in this TB, you have to know about some facts. So which organism is causing this TB, whether it is a protozoa or bacteria, fungi, etc. You have to know that, and you have to see like what are the signs and symptoms. So what is a medication chart, everything that you have to differ. So this is very, very important topic. And there is one more important article here is internal clock. So what happens, so we will be having the circadian rhythms. That means we will be understanding like when to sleep and when to get up, right or no? So during night times we will be sleeping, and during daytimes we will be doing some work, etc. So what happened, this article says that which color light you are using in your bedrooms. So actually, what are the lights that you are using in your bedrooms, that will be having effect on your sleep cycle. and if you're using this yellow color, that will be having intense effect on your sleep cycle. So this is a thing which mainly said by this article, and we are going to see one by one in detail. And one more thing here is, if you want to get the notes of this class, so please do join this Telegram channel, and there we are posting this class notes so that you can easily download that notes. Okay, clear? And now let us see this notes point of view. So first article, it is about census which has been delayed once again. So if you see the context, it says that the deadline to freeze the administrative boundaries of districts, of tahsils, towns, municipal bodies and others for this census has been extended till June 30, 2024. Okay, so here next year till June 30 it has been postponed. And actually this decennial exercise that should be started in 2020 itself, but has been posted again and again because of this COVID-19 pandemic, and actually this is the 9th such extension of this deadline. So under this 128th Constitution Amendment Act here, so this act is also known as Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam. Okay, so Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam, it is talking about 1/3 seats or reserved for this woman in Lok Sabha and as well as in State Legislative Assembly. So if we want to implement this here, at present government said that after this implementation of this census, after once you are getting this data, then we are going to implement this. So actually if you see in India, we have conducted the census every 10 years since 1881 onwards. And if you see, the first of its decade census was expected to begin from April 1st, 2020, but has been delayed because of this COVID-19 pandemic. And in the absence of fresh data here, government agencies, they are still formulating policies and allocating the subsidies based on the data acquired from 2011 census. So from the data which is acquired from this 2011 census, so based on that we can come with the policies and we can come up with the subsidies, etc. So for all these things, yes, we need data. So if we have no data, means how can we analyze? So now let us see some basic facts regarding this census. So this census is a process in which we are going for collecting of information and compiling of information, analyzing and evaluating of information, and even publishing and disseminating statistical data regarding the population. And this one is, India will soon begin preparations for what is one of the world's largest head count exercise. Okay, so it is one of the largest head count exercise because you know that India is the most populous country, and it's a thing which said by United Nations Population Prospects Report. Okay, so because of that, yes, it will be a very, very huge task. And please let me know, have you ever observed this process of census? Like who will come to your home and who will be taking the details of your family members? So what are the things they will be asking? So do you have any idea? So actually I do have that idea. So whenever I was a child, so at that time we visited our grandmother's home, okay, in a village. So at that time here, Anganwadi teacher, she came and she took the details of our family. Okay, so because of that I know like so who will be coming and what are the questions will be asked, etc. So if you have such an experience, so please share your experience in the comment box. Okay, and this census, it is a new enumeration of population of the country, and it is being conducted at an interval of 10 years. So for every 10 years we will be conducting this census. And if you are talking about this census, who will conduct this census? So the responsibility of conducting of this decennial census, it is rests with the Office of Registrar General, okay, and even Commissioner, and India, which comes under this Ministry of Home Affairs as well. And if you are talking about what is structure of data, so which kind of data they will be collecting. So in the census, the data is collected on demographic and various socio-economic parameters. For example, we have education, we have SC and STs, and religion, language, marriage, fertility, disability. So all these are very, very important. And if you're talking about what is significance of this census, so why we need this census? So with this census, we are collecting data and we are organizing data, evaluating data. So such data is very important to get a clear picture of who India is. Okay, its demography and how the people are living and what they do, and it is what are the basis or the policies. For example, government need to come with this policy or scheme, so you need to have the data, right? That data we are going to get from this census data. And even this census which also helps is framing government policies, and even that will be helpful for upliftment of the scheduled caste and as well as scheduled tribes. And this one is also be the basis for the reviving the country's progress in the past decade, and that will also helpful for monitoring the ongoing schemes of the government as well as planning. And next topic it is about human trafficking. So this topic is at most important, and even in your Lakshmikant polity we have this topic of human trafficking. So please let me know which article in our constitution talks about this human trafficking. So in the meanwhile I will have some water. So do it fast. Please pause the video. Have you done about the article which talks about human trafficking? So please let me know, and even in which part of our constitution is present, whether it is a guaranteed right or not. So now let us see the details. So what exactly human trafficking means? So human trafficking refers to the illegal trade. So we are going for illegal trade, exploitation of humans, typically for the purpose of forced labor and for this sexual exploitation or involuntary servitude. So even this will involves like recruitment is there, transportation, transfer, laboring, receipt of individuals through the threat, force, coercion, abduction, fraud, deception of the purpose of exploiting them. So all these will be included. Okay. And the next one here is constitutional provisions or the laws which are present in India. So first one is the constitution talks about article 23. So article 23 which is saying that there is a prohibition of human trafficking. So article 23 prohibits human trafficking and beggar. That means labor without payment. And this one is Immoral Traffic Prevention Act of 1956. So this law which serves as a primary law, and this law which aimed at preventing trafficking, especially for the commercial sex exploitation. So for commercial sex exploitation, so it has been banned. And this one is Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act, that is POCSO Act of 2012. So it enacted in the year 2012. So this act is dedicated on shielding children from sexual abuse and as well as exploitation. So these are some important constitutional as well as legal, that is laws which are present in India to deal with this human trafficking. And next one is, what are the causes of this human trafficking? So please tell me fast, what are the causes? Fast, pause the video and let me know what are the causes. Yes, the first one here is poverty and economic disparities. So economic hardships, they drive individuals into vulnerable situations, and even that will make them susceptible to promises of better opportunities that trackers exploit. And next one is lack of education and awareness. So people do not have proper education, okay, awareness about the risk of trafficking and how they are leaving individuals unaware of the tactics used by traffickers and making them the easy targets. And next one is conflict, instability and displacement. So whenever the areas which are affected by this conflict or political instability or the natural disasters, so they create environments, okay, that will be helpful for ripening of exploitation, as people they seek refuge or stability elsewhere. So next here important cause here is social marginalization and discrimination. So this marginalized sections of people like children, women and as well as migrants, minorities, so they are often more vulnerable to this social discrimination, and even they do not have the proper support. And next topic is demand for the child labor and services. So here industries, they are even seeking the labor at a very low cost. Sometimes even here blind eye to exploited the practices, and those people they are perpetuating trafficking for the labor exploitation. So what happens, industries they are demanding for this low cost or cheap labor, So it's supplied by these organizations. And next one is online exploitation in technology. So technological advancements, they have facilitated online recruitment and making it easier for these traffickers, and even that will be helpful for luring of these victims through various deceptive means. And what are the impacts? So the impacts will be a lot. So first and the foremost thing here is that will causes trauma and psychological effects. So here victims endure physiological trauma, and as well as they will enter into this depression, anxiety in the case of betrayal. That will lead to long-term mental health issues. And next one is physical health complications. So because of this trafficking, that will also leads to physical abuse, neglect and inadequate health care. That will lead into the various health complications, and as well as that will lead to long-term injuries. So next one here is loss of freedom and rights. So here whenever the people they had been trafficked, they have to compromise on their rights. For example, they will lose their autonomy and the basic human rights, and they will be often living in the constant fear. So this fear is subjected to control and as well as exploitation. So this is about this topic. And now let us move on. So we are going to discuss about the next topic. It is about TB. So why there is a TB? Contribution is less from this private sector. So this is very, very important topic. So if we are talking about this context, it says that India made notification of this TB patients mandatory in 2012. In 2012 itself, Government of India came up with this TB patients mandatory. So this mandatory will be helpful to address the problem of delayed diagnosis and even suboptimal quality of care, and even they will be seeing about incorrect diagnostic and treatment protocols. So here if you see the data which says that a year later, that is in 2% of all notified patients, they were from the private sector. And thanks to several initiatives which had been adopted by this National TB Elimination Program. And the proportion of this notified cases have been increased substantially, 21% in 2017 to 25, and next one is 28 in 2019. And now in 2032 it is around 30%. So if you're talking about the significant increase of this TB cases in the private sector, so TB notification of the years, they fall far short of targets, and they had been set up by National Strategic Plan. And next one is the TB notification target was set up by this National Strategic Plan for the private sector. It was like 35%, 45% in 2021, and 2022 it is 56%. And according to the target which had been set up by this NSP, so in 2022 there should be given like 1.93 million TB notifications, but at only 0.73 million notifications have been received. And if you see, there is a staggering number of there is increased number of this TB day by day. So there are about 1.2 million TB cases you have seen in this private sector, and they are coming under the category of this missed sector. They do not took antibiotics. And even here the target for this expected notification is 2022 by this private sector. It was like 0.95 million. And based on this 2016 TB incidence of 2.8 million cases in India, so out of this about 0.3 million from the private sector and 1.6 million from this public sector, they had been notified. So this is about this data. And now let us see some facts regarding this tuberculosis. Tuberculosis, it is an infection, and this infection is caused by bacteria, that is Mycobacterium tuberculosis. And it is not only affecting only lungs, but even this same bacteria will be causing effect to our eye as well. So the most common ones are lungs, pleura, and lymph nodes, intestines, spines, and brain. So in these areas, so they will be targeting. So if you say transmission, so it is airborne infection that's spread through the close contact with the infection or the infected person. So if one is infected, and if you're going close to him, and if you're shaking hands, if you're kissing him, if you're hugging him, there is a chance of getting this TB. So what will be the symptoms? So the common signs and symptoms are active lung TB, or they will be having intensive cough. and they will be also getting sputum and blood at sometimes, chest pain, weakness, weight loss, fever, and night sweats. So these are some important signs and symptoms. And if it's a treatment, TB is a treatable and curable disease, and this TB it is treated with a standard 6 months course of 4 antimicrobial drugs. So here for the 6 months you have to take at least 4 antimicrobial drugs, and that are provided with the information, supervision and support of the patient by the healthcare worker or trained volunteer. And next one is anti-TB medicines. They have been used for decades, and strains they are resistant to one or more of this medical have been documented in every country surveyed. And next one here is we are focusing on this multi-drug resistance. Okay, that is seen, that is MDR-TB. So in this MDR-TB, so the microorganisms they are not respond to the isoniazid and rifampicin. So those are two first line antimicrobial drugs. Okay, antimicrobial drugs, that means nothing but here this TB we will be having the first line drugs and we will be having second line drugs. So especially if you're talking about this first line drugs, we have isoniazid and we have rifampicin, streptomycin, etc. So whenever these drugs are given to the patients but they are not taken correctly, or we can say irrational use of antibiotics, that will cause this MDR-TB. So now these drugs they will be not useful for the treating of that same microorganism. So we have to shift towards another drug. And this MDR-TB it is treatable and it is even curable by using the second line drugs. So if once antimicrobial resistance which is caused for this first line drugs, we will be moving on to this second line drugs. For example, bedaquiline. So excessively drug resistance, that is exclusively drug resistance or extensively drug resistance TB, that is called as XDR-TB. So it is a very serious form of MDR-TB. So in this bacteria it is not responding to the second line drugs as well. Okay, so that is about that topic, and next topic it is about internal clock. So there is nothing much to read, but just understand what is the impact of the light on our sleep pattern. So if you are talking about, this article says that ambient light does not only allow us to see. So if you want to see anything, we need light. So without light we can't see anything, right? So for the seeing of anything, yes, we need the light. So in the same way it will also influence our sleep wake rhythm. So how many of you read late night? So I am also a night owl. So what are the work is that I used to do in night, but now I have to come up with this news analysis as soon as possible, so that I am getting up at early morning in the 5 o'clock. Okay, daily I will wake up at 5 o'clock because the paper is coming at 5. So earlier paper used to come at 4 o'clock, and that time I used to wake up at 4 o'clock. So here if you see here, so whenever you are, I don't know whether you have experienced or not. So if you are switch on in the light here, so whether will you sleep or not? Will you get the sleep? No, right? So it will take a lot of time to get the sleep if you are having a light. In the same way, this article says that especially this yellowish light which is having this strong influence on the internal clock than compared to this bluish light. So in humans, the main effect of the light on the internal clock and the sleep is probably mediated via light sensitive ganglion cells. So why there is a change or why there is impact on our sleep cycle is because, so whenever the light is switched on, so you will be having the ganglion cells. So that ganglion cells are light sensitive. So because of this you will be not getting the sleep properly. So if you see the details, it says that to understand the effects of different light stimuli on the humans in the sleep, here in laboratory they did one study, okay, by using the mouse. Okay, so they understood that yes, there is some change in the internal clock. And additionally, they also assessed how long it took the volunteers to fall asleep and how deep their sleep was at the beginning of the night. So all these things are being studied. And this study which found that here human circadian cycle or clock is relevantly insensitive to the shifts in the light color towards warmer color temperature at the constant melatonin accumulation. So till now we studied about this sleep cycle. But if you see this human circadian clock or the biological clock, so this biological clock will be not having the influence. Okay, so this is the thing which mainly said in this article. And now let us see next topic. It is regarding Lewy 20 to 30 percentage of health tax on food which are high in salt, sugar and fat. It is very, very important. Why? Because nowadays there is increased burden of this non-communicable diseases. Okay, so because of this, government need to take some steps. So this article says that the a health tax of between 20 to 30 percentage in addition to GST. So what are the GST which we are implementing? So to that GST we have to add this 20 to 30 percentage of tax. Okay, so that here we can reduce the consumption of this foods that are containing the salt, sugar, etc. in the people. So here health tax, which is nothing but it is around 20 to 30 percentage in addition to GST, and that can be considered to be imposed on sugar and sugar sweetened beverages, and as well as Coca-Colas and juices, as well as foods which are seen highly in sugar, salt and as well as fat. So this is the thing which mainly said. And if you see the other details, the recommendation, it is an outcome of UNICEF funded project, and others will influence the policies which are aimed to reduce consumption of sugar and related products. So even if you see Niti Aayog also came with a report. It said that when we are consuming this high salt, high sugar and high fat related foods, means that will be having impact. Okay, impact. And even Niti Aayog said that health taxes and the warning labels on the products, they have to be used, and that will encourage people to know about what will happen. And if you see, even according to Ministry of Consumer Affairs and Food and Public Distribution data, it said that about 55% of annual sugar produced in India that had been used. And this one is sugar is taxed at 18% of DST, and if you are asking this 20 to 30% of tax, and that will be taking tax up to 38 to 48%. But if you see the sugar cost, it is around 39 rupees now. So if we have to pay that much tax and additional price, means it will be very burden on the poor people, right? So even to me also it will be very, very burden, and I have to think about this once. And next topic is taxing unhealthy foods more likely to reduce the demand while increasing the government revenues for reinvestment. So this article says that rather than investing money on this unhealthy food, so we can divert that to the reinvestment, so that will be leads into the development of overall country. And next one is imposing of this health tax on sugar and related products that can help to control obesity and as well as tooth decay, risk of type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease and even certain cancers. So these are some important diseases which are caused by this food which are containing high salt and sugar level. And even researchers, they say that if people continue to consume sugar sweetened beverages every year, what happens? They will become overweight. So their weight will be increased, and obesity, it is already prevalent in the region, that will go into increased. Okay, that will go into increase from 39% to 49% if you are not controlling the taking of this food. Okay, and even type 2 diabetes mellitus will also going to be rise. Okay, so these are some important things which are said in this article, and that's all. This is our today's news analysis. And one thing I want to show here is, this is our Rathods IS classes Telegram channel. So here we are posting the notes. So here if you click on the notes, and you can easily download the notes. So do join this Rathods IS classes Telegram channel to get the notes. And one more thing here is, this is our YouTube channel. So please do subscribe to this Rathods IS Academy YouTube channel. And this is our website. Okay, Rathods IS Academy website. So there are lots and lots of courses that we are providing. So for that, before that, you have to click on list, login and register. First you have to do register, then login, and you can click on this course list. So here these are the wide range of courses that we are offering. So if you want to watch the demo video, so simply click on play course, so that the 3 videos will be opened, and you can watch the 3 videos in all these modules. And one more thing here is, we started this mains answering course recently. And if you are a beginner and if you are facing problem regarding writing an answer, content and structuring of an answer, presentation, everything, so you can come and join this course. So if you can't pay this amount of 8,200 rupees in one go, you can pay in 2 installments. Okay, so that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this class. So if you really like this class, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to this Rathods IAS Academy. Thank you so much for watching.